I'll let her introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Mary. I am many things.
Yeah.
many things. But on this video, I am a fiction author, self-published. Yay! I'm also the founder of Books, where we give tips, training, and services to self-publishing writers and authors just to ensure they're publishing ready without losing their sanity or breaking the bank.
So here we have our local, but then local not as in local.
No.
Like, local as
representing.
Yes, like high quality, good content. Guys, you need to read this. It's the first book in a series called Harry's Girls.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I have so many, but I'm just going to spoil for you. I don't know if should we say from this point on, spoiler alert. Spoilers alert.
Spoiler alert.
But I'll try to make sure that I don't spoil for you the story.
Funny enough, Harry is what I'd call a starting point for the book, for the characters, because his death, and actually I talk about it in the blog, so this is not an entire spoiler. His death is actually what catalyzes everything else that starts to happen in the book, and so he was a starting point. I have toyed around with the idea of maybe having a short story that sort of talks more about who he is. Definitely who he's been as a father to his girls is revealed in the book for sure, and even the books to come, because the series is of three sisters, and we get to meet the first sister in this book, and her name is Hope. And so definitely as we're interacting with the sisters, we're getting to find out more about what kind of father he's been to them, even as they remember him in his death and as they grieve his death. But what I didn't want to do, I didn't want to make the book too heavy, because it's a romantic suspense, it's a novel, it's a fiction novel. So on the one hand, I don't want to make light of his death, because definitely you're not going to lose someone and be like, whoa, okay, let's fall in love now. that would not make sense. But at the same time, I wanted to introduce the idea of, even in the bad stuff that happens in life, good stuff can also happen. And there are amazing things. You can find love even in the worst of situations. And that's the setup that is in this book. And so, yes, there's a bit of backstory coming in. One of the really nice facts that I have for these books and for this series is that every girl gets a letter from Harry.
I know.
And
what did they say?
Yeah, and so in him writing to his girls, you get to find out more about how he viewed each of them and his heart, his father's heart for each of them. And so even as we're also talking about the other characters, Dean, for example, who's the hero of this book, he also had a relationship with Harry, and as much as he's not his biological son, in many ways he was his spiritual mentor. And so they were dealing with, okay, I'm finding my way in salvation, I'm finding my way in the faith, and there's this man who has anchored me in this journey, and I've barely begun to figure it out, and I don't have it anymore. What happens next? How do I become a man of faith without this light that was guiding my path? And so there's also that, just figuring that sort of journey out. So in getting to know more about the characters in the book, we do get to learn about Harry, who he has been to these different characters, and even some of the hopes and dreams that they had for him, and even having him in their lives, even in the future. Because definitely when you're talking about love, you're talking about things like weddings and memories in the family, and so you have to sort of contend with, oh, this person isn't going to be there for this, they're not going to get to know this, or they're not going to get to see me accomplish this. And so there is some element of that, but there's also some hope in the sense that they may not be here now, but all the ways they have been there for me in the past, and they have walked with me and journeyed with me, has enabled me to get here. And so I'm able to find joy in that, and I'm able to be glad, and I'm able to celebrate the moment. So yes, will he have a standalone story?
Not a standalone story.
Or say something? We will see. We will see. I mean, the beauty of a series is that it doesn't have to just be stuck. The series ideally for the full books is 3, but it doesn't mean that there can't be some short books in between. You never know. You never know.
I don't know. It's true. Anything could happen.
I mean, the beauty of fiction is that it's all up for creation. So anything could happen. So definitely, as I'm looking at what I'm putting into the writing 2 books, I'm definitely thinking about how do I want my characters to evolve, and that includes Harry, because in as much as he's physically not present in the characters' lives, he's very much mentally and emotionally there because of the journey they've shared together. So there is all of that still involved. So definitely see, we'll see. I wouldn't say there is one specific person who embodies Harry. I would say Harry is a combination of who I've seen fathers to be.
Yes.
Fathers who love their children dearly. And the reality of fathers, and we get a bit of this even in the beginning of the story, is that they are human, they're not perfect. They have their own moments of crisis, they have their own faults and mistakes, but there is something in the father's love for their children or for their child, if they just have one, and how they will move heaven and earth for their kid. And for me, that's what I was going for, and I think it's even parallel even for God's love for us. Where in as much as yes, God's love for us is a perfect angle to it, but it's how it translates even in the human fathers we have around us. And I think I also wanted to make a case for fatherhood not just being biological, but even being relational, because Dean is not Harry's biological son, but Harry definitely walks with him as a son. And so, we talk a lot about fatherhood and sonship and what it means to be God's children. And I think for me, I wanted to have someone who would tangibly illustrate that. Where in the relationships that Harry has with his girls, and even with Dean and some of the other characters, we get to see what does it actually mean to have a father who loves us, who cares for us, where love does not equate to perfection. It doesn't mean that I'm getting everything right. It doesn't mean that I always know what to do with you as my kid. But because I'm willing to try, I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to engage, I'm willing to show up and to keep showing up, it makes a difference. And we see that even in who his girls become, because of how he has to raise them. So, I think he's a combination of, I think, some of the elements of fatherhood I've seen in the fathers who are around.
The book didn't shy away from a lot of issues. It feels so relatable on every level. First of all, I personally felt like hope. I felt like hope when I was in high school. I can't explain why I related so much to hope. I related to a lot of people, but mostly hope, and it's her book, so probably I'll say the same thing when it's Harriet. I probably will. It's just hope, and I think it's how you introduced her to us, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but also how Harry, what he said in the letter, and it's like, that makes sense, because it's a challenge we feel with hope all through. Why did you feel it was very intentional to go there when it comes to relationships, whether familial, even with the tensions among the sisters, you're always this way, and we get to have a
hashtag family stuff. We all got our
it's
stuff.
Like, goodness, hope you always do this. We can't keep saving you.
Get it together.
Yes. So I love that it was tangible in that way, and even with friendships, just okay, I don't want to tease to the romances that I'm assuming, so I'm trying so hard not to spoil, but again with the tensions you brought relationally, why did you feel it to be important to have it as raw as it is?
I think before I became an author of Christian fiction, I was a reader of it, and I think as a reader, one of the things I've found, especially with Christian fiction, and I think it also translates to Christian conversations a lot of the times, is that we don't go there. We have a scripture for everything, and we'll throw it at everything, but we're not actually talking about the stuff we're going through. And because we're not talking about it, you find that people will struggle with so much on their own, or they'll find some outlet that is not helpful. It doesn't eventually really sort them out. And so for me, it was important to go there because God goes there. That's the irony, I think, for me. The fact that when we read the Bible, we we have books like Job.
Oh,
He goes
yes,
there.
Yes.
We have books like Jonah. He goes there.
Meditation.
We have no meditations. He goes there.
All through.
We have the Psalms. I
Yes.
think if there is a
Relatable.
hashtag
Yes.
all seasons of life, it's a
Yes.
Psalms.
Yeah.
He goes there.
He
And
does.
the people who we meet in the Bible go there. They're
Yeah,
not
they
afraid
do.
to go there with
Yeah.
God. And I think it shows us what our relationship with God can look like. Because if we don't go there, then how can God meet us there?
That's true.
And I think for me it was
Yeah.
so important because as a reader I've realized, as a reader of fiction, I've realized in as much as it's fiction, there's so much of what we think about life or believe about life that we get from the media that we consume, even fiction, especially fiction, because we don't think it's affecting us as much as it is.
Yeah.
And so for me it was a way of introducing real life into a fictional world.
Yeah.
And tackling that through and just sort of showing how do we navigate this? Okay, we've lost our father. How do we figure it out? Okay, I'm Hope. I am on the verge of finishing my degree in something I absolutely do not want to do for the rest of my life.
Yes. Their degree. Mine.
What do I do?
Yes.
And there is this thing that I absolutely love doing, which is the arts. And I don't know how to reconcile the time I've spent getting this degree and this passion I so dearly love and can't let go. These are things all of us are going through. You know, we're all dealing with figuring out what is our life going to look like. How do we navigate through the tough situations of life? What do we do when life happens? Because life happens. We're in a season in the world where life is happening a lot.
Still happening.
It's still happening. We thought it was going to be all of 2 seconds, but we're still here. So for me, it was really important as a Christian to go there.
Yes.
Because God goes there. And I think for me, even at a personal level, in my relationship with God, He's gone there with me. You know, and I've been able to go there with Him. And I want to really model that. And I think for me, it's something I want to do with all my characters, all my books, all my stories. I do want to go there. Even when it comes, I mean, this is romance. One of the things that is subtly touched in this book, and we will definitely get a bit into in the next book, is sex. It's sexual attraction.
Yes.
It's a romance book.
Yes.
Of course, we're going to talk about sex. We're
Yes.
going to talk about.
Yes.
I'm having the hots for you. I really want to do a lot of stuff with you, but I'm not supposed to. So, yeah, what do we do? Why? Because all of these are things that we go through, and because we're not talking about them, I feel that we're losing so much of the wisdom and the counsel and the grace and the insight that we would get not just from God, but even from one another. Because in the same way we don't go there with God, we don't go there with one another. And so we don't realize that a lot of the things we're going through, other people have gone through. They found ways to navigate. They've made mistakes and we learned from them. And if we can learn from them, we don't have to go through the pain of their mistakes. And so I had to go there, and I'm going to keep going there. I have
take us.
Yeah, I was like, if I'm going to write a book, this is the kind of book I would want to read. Because even in some of the fiction that I've read, I'm like, okay, we're heading somewhere, but I feel like you just glossed over what just happened. I feel like you just glossed over this struggle this character is having. Or I feel like you just threw scripture. And scripture is valid, it's important, but how does that actually apply to what this person is going through? And so, definitely going there. And that's where potential is.
No, it's gonna be someone who's annoying, and then we'll just fall in love with him. We know how it goes. I must read the book.